Back again with another discussion this time. So, what we've decided to do, and I say we because I've invited one of my good friends, none other than Bitch Tits Terry. Terry?
I hate you so much. This guy's a scumbag. It's alright. Hi, everybody.
Absolutely. So, me and Terry like to talk. We like to talk a lot, specifically about movies and movies that help shape and form us. What we decided to do was we really wanted to figure out which characters were really the ones that built us. So, we're really going down the list and we're trying to come up with different characters from different movies, and we're picking ones that we kind of agree upon, but you might be able to throw a curveball in there. But what we've decided to go ahead and do is, Terry, you want to take us through who we decided to go over first?
We're going to start with Big Trouble in Little China. Jack Burton, specifically.
Who? Jack Burton. Me.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Absolutely. Because Jack Burton, I don't know about you, Terry, but Jack Burton is one of, if not my favorite characters.
He's high on that list.
Literally, pretty much anything that comes out of his mouth is golden. And this is one of, I mean, I think that's kind of Kurt Russell in general, but this character specifically, fantastic.
Created for the land of one-liners. And yeah, it's just such a perfect fit. He's a fantastic character.
So, if you haven't seen it, basically what we're talking about is Big Trouble in Little China, which was, more or less, it's a cult classic now, because when it came out in 1986, it actually didn't do very well in the theaters until, I think that was more of the marketing, probably, and people just not used to, Kurt Russell's awesomeness in general.
They didn't know what it was going to be.
I mean, how do you market that? I mean, really, how do you synopsize such a good thing in such a short little trailer? I mean, it's hard to do. But since then, it has gained a ton of traction, and there's a ton of people that just absolutely love it, including ourselves. So what we decided to do is really pick out the biggest influencers of mass and destruction for our lives. And I've got to tell you, Jack Burton is high on the list. This wasn't even a back and forth discussion. This was just a Jack Burton. And it's just agreed upon, all right?
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you on that one. There will be no argument here about, is he a great character? He's fantastic. He's definitely high on the list.
So what we're kind of forming, and we're just going to do this as we go, a little more free form, but we're going to talk about a couple of the characteristics, some of the quotes, or some of the scenes from the movie that really stuck with us and really, pushed Jack Burton above others, perhaps. So, I don't know, do you got anything that comes to mind, Terry?
Everybody relax. I'm here. This character is raw ego at its finest. He is such a piece of garbage. But he doesn't know that. He doesn't accept that. And that is not how he lives his life. You realize that Jack Burton would be the most irritating person to know in real life, right? Like, if we were actually friends with Jack Burton, I would be sick of that man instantaneously.
To be fair, I do kind of feel like I'm friends with Jack Burton multiple times, periodically, bits and pieces, which I think is exactly what we're getting to here, is he's molded parts of our character. Maybe not the best parts. Yeah. The biggest thing, I think, he's very... You're right. I mean, he is super egotistical. He is very confident, I think, is a good way to put that. But the other thing is, he's a winner, okay? The man wins.
Even if unintentional.
Hey, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter how it happens as long as it happens. Winning is winning. And if you look at this guy's ledger, he's got a lot of W's in that book, okay? Yeah, But you're absolutely right. I think that kind of probably the endearing thing about Jack Burton, though, is I think he is very egotistical, very self-centered, but at the same time, he's definitely an idiot.
Let's just lay it on the table. The man's a dumbass, in the best possible way.
But he's also very, very resourceful, and he's also very
lucky. Very lucky.
Okay, if luck is a superpower or a super skill, then he is absolutely
luck is a superpower. He
absolutely has it. He has to have it, because otherwise
he'd be dead. Yeah, absolutely. Let's just say, shoots the gun into the ceiling, passes out, avoids all of the conflict, which certainly would have led to his demise. No, but he just ekes on by right to the end. The knife? Come on, man. If that's not luck, he'd say skill.
Some say luck, some say skill. I mean, if you look at the journey of the character through the movie, he very much so fancies himself the hero, and he is, to a certain extent, and basically, and if you've seen the movie, and if you haven't, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, go now, free on YouTube.
Literally, you can go find anything on there. But he is the hero, but he's also us in the movie, I think. And that's what's really important is he's taking a story that's very big and sweeping, you know, an Asian story that comes in with all this cool lore and characters, and it just plops us right in the middle. And he asks the questions we want to. Huh? What? What will come out no more?
Will come out no more.
What? Huh? What'll come out no more?
Come on.
Damn it.
Yeah, literally like all those
Yep,
things.
what the
But does it
hell
with
is going
confidence
on?
and just acts like he fits. That's the biggest thing. But again, of all of his characteristics, some of the endearing things are he's loyal. Like his friends, if he's your friend and he calls you his
Yeah.
friend, it doesn't take much to get him to go basically risk his life multiple times for his truck. He's going to act tough a little bit, but it's really because his friend asked him.
I wouldn't have drove to the airport. I'd have been like, no. No.
You bring
not
me my
only-
money at your restaurant, okay?
Yep.
Was it distrust? Maybe. But ultimately, it was very key in the story and
It was
as a defining
distrust.
character. I'm sure he wanted to go help his friend Wang pick up his girlfriend. And, you know, just happened to get into a little side story. This whole thing is
A
like just
slight
a side quest that happens
distraction.
to really, yeah, light.
From a ride to the airport. Yeah, absolutely.
Again, his morals, you know, they may be somewhat ambiguous to go with what he needs at the time, but at the same time, he's got a sturdy foundation. And I think that's his friends, his loyalty, and, you know, he just goes hard. He goes real
Very.
hard. And I think the biggest thing is he just acts the part until he can do it, and he just always seems to do it.
The moral of the story is always believe in yourself. Absolutely. That man believes in himself to a fault.
That's not a bad take on the overall point of the movie, which I
Yeah.
love because I've never thought about it that way. It didn't feel like it was just, you know, hammered in my face. Oh, you can do anything you put your mind to.
Sure. They don't say it out
This
loud.
man
but-
had monsters thrown in his face, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let alone the hell of being torn to pieces or the hell of the upside down sitters.
Yep. Hell of burning oil. Yeah.
Hell of being what?
Yeah, he just motors right on through. Are you crazy? Is that what this is? I mean,
Yep.
it's continual. But if I had to... A pivotal scene for Jack Burton, do you have one that comes up?
When he gets out of the elevator with lipstick all over his face after he kisses Kim Cattrall. And he comes out and he's looking around like he is just $100, man. Just, all right, let's go. And he looks like a jackass. He is a jackass. But no amount could ever change that. You know, he is just raw walking ego, and it's phenomenal.
I think that does sum up his character pretty much 100%, and to a point. I mean, he's in the mix of all this shit, and yeah, just makes out with this girl that continually has shut him down the
Multiple
entire
times.
movie, the entire night. I mean, like the whole movie happens over one night, but he's
Not even just,
multiple.
not even
Would you
just shut him
stop
down.
pressing your body against me like that? It's really hard to concentrate. Okay,
Right, she has insulted him multiple times. He's
Actually,
just got that look.
He gets insulted by pretty much everybody. You know what?
Everybody.
It
He's an
doesn't
idiot.
seem like he absorbs them. But that's the thing.
It's
It's like
his superpower.
resiliency and his just
Yeah, he's very resilient. Another lesson that you can apply to your life is that words don't hurt. Because if that was true, my God, Jack Burton would be dead. You know? He's a
Jack
resilient
Burton
man.
would be dead 10 times over,
Yeah.
easily. I don't know. There's so much about his character. I mean, I think one of my favorite quotes was, like I told my last wife, I never drive faster than I can see. And besides that, it's all,
It's all
in the
about the
reflexes.
reflexes.
It's all in the reflexes.
Yep.
Yeah, which that's another thing this movie does wonderfully. Well, a little shout out to John Carpenter. You know, when some movies were made really well.
Very.
He had a lot of that foreshadowing early with like the little tricks that they had at the beginning. You know, the bottle trick what they were betting on that kind of was one of the crux of the whole. You know what happens in the movie about going to get the money that's owed to him, but that is the end scene, and it just comes full circle. There's so many little inklings of that kind of stuff that get layered in, and it just makes it a really quality movie and makes Jack Burton a really more in-depth character. Even when he he's a pretty superficial character. I mean, honestly, but at the same time, there are layers. There are layers.
No, there are layers. There are layers. It's a movie that you can look deep into if you choose to, but you don't have to. You can just take it at face value and it's hilarious, or you can really peel the onion layers back and look at it and be like, wow, there's actually substance here, you know, even though it's such a silly movie.
It absolutely is. I mean, it's literally, it's a Chinese black magic mystery in San Francisco.
Yep.
With a truck driver, a random truck driver.
Random truck driver.
Yeah. I don't know if this came out before Mortal Kombat. I think it actually, yeah. I always heard that the was it Lightning character, like inspired Raiden to a certain extent.
Yeah,
so,
I can absolutely.
I mean, early on,
the Three Storms. Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, they were awesome. There's so many cool things about the movie in of itself, but as we're talking about these different characters and trying to figure out which are some of the more crucial parts that made our personalities up and basically made us who we are today, we got to figure out some sort of a ranking system. So we're going to go out of 10. How pivotal do we feel this person is to our character now, and or just how much of a badass character? This is all subjective anyway, so we can do whatever we want.
Subjection.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, this is really hard. Maybe we should have started with somebody like a little bit lesser. Sure. I don't know. Do you have a number offhand?
Yeah, I'm going to piss you off. I'm going to start an argument right now. I'm going to go 6.
Out of 10.
Yep.
6 out of 10.
You heard me.
Are you crazy? Is that your problem?
An explanation? Do you want an explanation?
Please.
Kurt Russell, okay, as heroic as he is, there's a certain amount of heroism, of physical violence that I want from my action hero. And while Kurt Russell and Jack Burton deliver it in certain ways, in certain aspects, it doesn't come full circle. He's much more of a trip, haphazard, through a scenario hero. And me personally, from my subjective opinion, I like a good John Matrix from Commando type of superhero. I like a man who just drives it home. And you're not going to get that from Jack Burton. You're going to get fumbling and weaving until he gets to the end. And that's great. That's great. It's just not my cup of tea.
Well, and I can't argue with any of your points. And I will say that in the Kurt Russell umbrella movies, there are probably a couple other characters that would be more in line with some of your specific criteria, so to speak. Maybe a little Snake Plissken. Exactly, that's what I was thinking too. But for me personally, I think the charisma. I value the ability to talk, the ability to present. I mean, not that John Matrix can't. I mean, he's got charisma when Arnold has charisma when he walks into a room. But John Matrix also says about 20 words in that whole movie. So that's for me, I think this is going to be about 9.5. 9.5 for me.
Okay, I'll bring mine to a 7. Okay. I'll concede a little bit. I'll give you some room.
That's reasonable.
Give you some room. Okay.
And I can absolutely see your point of view. I just think that, he is not the main ass kicker in this movie. 100%.
No.
That's not him. But he thinks he is. That's almost. I think he's probably, to me, he's a little more realistic of a hero. Where if something like this is going to happen,
he is who we are in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And I think for me, that's I'm going to value that a little bit higher. And for me, I'm also just super biased because I absolutely adore the movie. Not that you don't, but I mean, it's just one that I have the shirt. I just washed it, otherwise I'd be wearing it right now. But
you do.
It's high on the list. So we got 9.5 and a 7. So what are we averaging out here? That's 8?
We'll do the math later. Math is on screen.
Yep, it'll be right. All right, so that's our first installment of Influencers of Mass Destruction. Terry, do you have anybody in mind for the next episode?
Since I brought it up, let's do John Matrix. Let's do Commando. Let's really we'll dive into it. Get the good heroes out of the way. Okay. Don't know why you chose such a weak character to start with.
Well, I mean, it's who I'm made of, bud.
Yeah, okay. The one that's the most relatable. Well, hey, that's perfect. Then John Matrix is next, and that's the one who's most relatable to me.
I mean, I was gonna say that literally, just because of the sheer size of your goddamn balls, bud. Ballsy.
My ego might be as big as Burton's.
100%. But that's what we're talking about next. So we're gonna do a little Commando coming up. All right, let us know in the comments who you'd like for us to talk about, and what did you think of Jack Burton? Is that a character that you know, I don't know, maybe relate with, maybe molded part of your life with? Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button for us. That'd be fantastic. And as always, you're awesome. Terry?
See you guys.
Peace out.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.